All right, good evening. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome. If you are joining us, share the video. Wherever you are joining, share the video. Wherever you are joining from, share the video. I'll invite others to join. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are watching from. Of course, we are here to, do the needful, to talk about the monopolistic practices in Nigeria and highlighting the importance of, or the benefit, the countries that understand the importance of fair competition in driving economic growth and innovation. Now think about it. In all our, in the history of Nigeria, we've been hearing about Dangote. We've been hearing about Dangote and his monopolistic act, in Nigeria, that it looks like only Dangote that has access, only Dangote that have access to businesses, such as we know what happened in the, in the business of, with him and Ibeto. We know, how Dangote climbed where he is during the time of Obasanjo. Now, I want us to understand the importance of fair competition, because it helps to drive economic growth and create innovative society. Now, in Nigeria, it is a country that does not understand such. If you go to Britain, who created Nigeria, if you go there today, you will understand they have something like Competition Commission. They have, they have an organization that actually, makes sure that there is equality in every sector. There is no monopoly in any sector. And no one holds monopoly to a particular business. That is what is driving the economic growth and innovation in Britain. But now, if you go to the United States, you will see there is an organization that makes sure there is equality in competition to foster growth and innovation in their country. And now, for you to understand how important it is for equality to come into any competitive business or any competitive industry in a particular country, if you understand the importance of it, it will bring a reputable, it will actually help to, bring in a, equitable society. It creates an equitable society. And every people will have access to go into such industry without being fear of being prejudiced against or being monopolized by the big shots. So that's why in every economy that practice monopoly, any economy that practice monopoly, such economy does not grow. And having seen how they were, the external influence in Nigeria, because we are actually here to talk about the intricacies of this monopolistic act of Nigeria system, which groomed Dangote to be above every other business, or to be the first choice of anything that is being done in Nigeria. Now let's actually find the implications. Because if Nigeria is a country that is together, if Nigeria is a country that is seen as a one nation, if Nigeria is a country that promotes economic growth and opportunity, if Nigeria is a country that promotes equitable society, if Nigeria is a country that does not practice monopoly in some certain industries, you will find people defending the activities of Dangote. Because what we're here to talk about is the truth of the matter. If Nigeria is a country that is reputable when it comes to distribution of economic opportunities, if Nigeria is a country that distributes economic opportunities and every other opportunity equally, I do not think that we are going to have this issue of Dangote emanating as we hear it today. Because as we all know, that we have external influence that is making sure that Nigeria does not have a refinery where they are going to refine their oil that is coming out of Nigeria. We all know that the aftermath of colonialism and the promotion of neo-colonialism by the existing leaders that you have in Nigeria, which help them to achieve their goals, and the economic sabotage that we see happening in Nigeria. If you look at it, you will understand very well and you will see it vividly that there is an internal, external influence that does not want Nigeria to have a refinery. That does not want Nigeria to have a refinery. And those external influence has been supporting the monopolistic nature of Dangote all this while. They've been supporting the monopolistic nature of Dangote all this while. But immediately when Dangote will make a move to actually bring something that might mitigate the importation of inflation into the country or into the geographical expression called Nigeria, then that external influence now will fight back because it is going to affect them. The monopolistic nature of Dangote they don't care about it. All they care is that the country must be in need of all things. The country must be in need of all things, serving the masters of British hegemony on them in want of all things. So they do not care if there is a Fulani man that holds the monopoly to every business that exists in Nigeria, be it manufacturing of cars, be it manufacturing of cement, be it selling flour, be it selling rice. It doesn't matter to them. Be it selling wheat, it does not matter to them. But immediately when he introduced something that might stop or mitigate inflation importation through importation of products from crude oil that we shift outside, they will fight back. Because I am going to say it in a liberal perspective, and I'll bring it to the context that we are going to understand that there is nothing that you are going to do under one Nigeria that is going to work. And Dangote knows about it. It is just because Dangote is benefiting, from this one Nigeria where the, monkey the walk, babu the chop. He is a beneficiary of monkey the walk, babu the chop. Because everything that belongs to you and I in that contraption called Nigeria has been allocated to the, Dangote. Now let me explain to you why, and also the reason why you will understand the external influence that does not want you to manufacture the oil that is coming out of the land where you call your country. Imagine if Dangote refinery start working perfectly and they start producing oil that you are going to use in your cars, because according to the information or the news that we have here, Dangote's refinery actually produce the better quality oil, better quality diesel rather, than the ones they are importing, because what they are importing is actually third grade of diesel. Because if you understand the qualities in diesel, you will know that low sulfur of diesel is the best amongst diesel production. Low sulfur. When the sulfur is lower, it is the best for your combustion engine. Because high sulfur mostly is used by trucks, and it is actually more oily. If you use it in your brand new, German machine, Japanese machine, if you use it in all those small cars, high sulfur, which is the one you are importing with your inflation into your country, if you use it, because I have the experience, because I have used, diesel cars, and I have understood, and knowing that I am an engineer myself, understanding how these things affect our engine. Now think about it. If the type of diesel that they are importing for you into Nigeria, it is actually third grade of diesel. Probably they import for you 50 ppm. Or they import for you 500 ppm, which is meant for tractors and trucks. And you are using it to drive your cars, which is going to reduce the emission, or it is going to reduce the performance of your vehicle, and in the long run it is going to affect your engine because the sulfur there is too high. Now, if Dangote is promising to produce 10 ppm of diesel, and if Dangote is actually producing low sulfur of diesel, and the Nigeria or mafia that is running the business or wherever it is coming from decide to block it, I want you to know that it is not Nigerian mafias that are blocking it. It is this neo-colonial agenda that is blocking it, because the Britain or whoever that is running Nigeria from the periphery, they actually use you to destroy you. That has been the way it is being run. And the Fulani man believes that, it has been in their favor. All this while, it has been in their favor. Therefore, they hold the monopoly to violence. They hold the monopoly to control business in Nigeria. They hold the monopoly to everything that is actually existing in Nigeria. But guess what? The only thing that they were going to do that is going to, be fair to the consumers, as long as there is this contraption called Nigeria still exists. That refinery that is built by Dangote was supposed to be beneficial to the contraption or to the country, but because it is a contraption, the refinery built now is going to be like a curse to you. Because, number one, the man who built the refinery is a monopolistic personality who, whenever he ventures into a particular business, he wants every other person who is in that industry to quit so that he will monopolize the industry. And that is the reason why many Nigerians will not even understand it in the perspective that I just, relate to you right now, which is the perspective of there is an external influence that does not want you to produce or manufacture what you consume. And they will go to any length to make sure that you do not manufacture what you consume. Because if you do, you are no longer being dependent on them. If you do, you will no longer send your crude oil and they will rob you and bring it back in the name of a product. So they want you to be dependent on them against all odds. So if actually, Nigeria is a place where you see a fair ground where anyone can come in and compete in any sector or any industry without somebody being monopolistic in that industry, if it is, then I was going to come out purely and defend Dangote. I was going to come out fully and defend Dangote. But because of Dangote's antecedents, there is nothing that will bring you, or there is nothing that will give you the morale to actually come in to defend his activities, because you will see it from the antecedent during the time of Obasanjo. When Ibeto was manufacturing cement, they made sure that they bring Ibeto down in order to promote Dangote, that Dangote set in the opportunity that belongs to millions of Nigerians to climb as #1 richest man in Africa. Therefore, that is the reason why you see people not speaking this the way it should be, because the antecedent of the man in question is monopolistic, and when you think about it, he came into this business. Let me read the news and his request from the government, and exactly when the request failed, his comment, his statement. When the request failed, his statement was, let me try to, read what is in this article. Let me try to read what is in this article, right, on Dangote's article, which says that Aliko Dangote, Africa's richest man, says that diesel produced by his massive refinery is the best that sold in Nigeria, even as lawmakers consider a probe into quality of fuel in the country. Tests conducted in his 650,000 barrel a day refinery lab showed that it produced with 87 parts per million of sulfur, while 2 imported varieties had tested in excess of 1,800 ppm. Dude, if you are driving 1,800 ppm in your small engine car, in your car, not in your trucks, on your tractors, believe you me, that's why it ruins your car very quickly. Where you are importing this diesel, they only use such type of diesel for a tractor, for big machines, for farmers, not to use it to drive in your small engine car. This is actually the reality of it. That's why when you drive a car in Nigeria, or a diesel car, within few months, it will start smoking. It will start smoking because your engine cannot burn 1,800 ppm. Dude, I was thinking it was 500 ppm because 500 ppm is one of the highest in the standard country. It's the highest in the standard country that is used by trucks. But you are using 1,800 ppm, which actually, suggests that it is highest sulfur. It is abnormal diesel that you import and use in your diesel engine cars, which damage your engine. Because number one, it is going to slow the combustion. Number two, it is going to actually, block your diesel filter. It is going to make you change your diesel filter quite often. Otherwise, it will block it because it's too much oily. That is last grade of diesel. That's what they are importing, and that's what you are actually, making use of in Nigeria. Think about it. Now, the external influence, which is sabotaging anything that will enable you to produce what you consume in Nigeria, is the one at work. They want you to be importing their, wasted product, because 1,800 ppm, it's like a wasted product. You cannot use it in a developed country to drive a car. This is a paraffin. This is a kerosene. What you are importing in the name of diesel is kerosene. Take it or leave it. It is not diesel. It is kerosene. Because the sulfur is too much. Look at it. Now, if Dangote, okay, let's continue to see what is written in this news. Let's continue to see what is written here. Now it says that the company targets 10 ppm of sulfur by the end of the month. He said, adding that the facility produces the best diesel in Nigeria. And indeed, if that facility produced 10 ppm, that is the best diesel in the world. That is the best diesel in the world. 10 ppm. It is a low sulfur. So now, if You've been using 1,800 ppm. Your car will not last 2 years. It will start, it will be messed up. And that is the reality of it. That is for big, tractors for the farmers. That is for trucks. In fact, trucks use 500 ppm. 500 ppm, but you are using almost 2,000 ppm. Where does it come from? It is a waste product that they are sending to you. Now, the second thing is that Dangote spoke. Let's see the interesting part of this news. Let us actually see the interesting part of this news. Why? The reason why you should never pity, because that's why I said the intricacies of this saga between Dangote and the oil mafias. Intricacies in this saga between Dangote and the peripheral, peripheral influence that does not want you to produce what you are consuming. Now, let's read it. Pay attention to this. Dangote spoke after giving a personal tour of the lab to several Nigeria politicians, including Tajuddin Abbas, Speaker of the House of Representatives, who joined him at the briefing and told the reporters that lawmakers would open an investigation into the nation's diesel quality. Into the nation's diesel quality. Which is the truth? Which is the truth? Dangote has been battling with authorities on multiple fronts since the start of the year, from a raid by the anti-graft agency on his offices in January to allegation last week that he wants an import ban on diesel. Did you see the monopolistic nature of the man? Because the man wants to be the only one who eats. Each and every industry the man comes into, the man wants every other person to fall that he climbs. Did you see the intricacies, the nuance, the complexity of this situation? The reason why, even if what he speaks makes sense, you cannot back it up, because the man in question is greedy. And the man in question believes that he is the only person in Nigeria, because Nigeria does not have any competition, commission that will see to day-to-day activities in the competition arena. Because if they do, Dangote will not be the richest person in Africa. If Nigeria have somebody who do the oversight to make sure there is a level ground for every competitor to compete, Dangote will not see even the tenth of African richest. But because everything was handed over to him in a golden platter by his Fulani brothers that has been running Nigeria to dust, that is the reason why Dangote is where he is today. And that is what is now going to make everything that he presents here invalid in the eyes of everyone. Because he's been eating and dining with the people who foster inequality in every sector of Nigeria politics, in every sector of Nigeria industry. They've been fostering inequality. That is actually the danger in what is happening. I hope we're still coming out. In what? Okay. So that is actually the danger in what you see. Now let's continue to read. Dangote has been battling with authorities on multiple fronts since the start of the year, from a raid by the anti-graft agency on his offices in January to allegation last week that he wants an import ban on diesel, so that he will be the only one that produces diesel in the country. Dangote did not go and negotiate with his competitors Dangote did not pull up a negotiation commission or committee to go and meet everyone in the sector, in the oil sector, and negotiate with them to say to them, now we have a refinery, let us work together. I will give you this, product in a better price that it will actually, reduce the price in the pump. You guys will benefit while every other person in the country benefits. But he did not do that. He wants to use his monopoly power. He wants to use his buying power to make sure he crippled those people so that they do not, they will not be his competitor. Because Dangote is a man that is so scared of competition. And that is the nature and the structure of Nigeria, what it does. Structure of Nigeria, Nigeria is structured in a way that nobody watches the watchman. Anyone does what they please, as long as they have money and know the leaders that is in power. But this time around, Dangote does not know the leader that is in power. This time around, this is not Obasanjo or Buhari. That's where his problem began. Of course, we know that there is a relative of Tinubu who is into oil business. A relative of Tinubu who is into oil business. How can Dangote ever try to, bring that up to say, let there be a ban in the oil or diesel importation into the country without negotiating with the people in the business, just because he believes he answers African riches, he can monopolize, he can do it. Importation of diesel in Nigeria is destroying everybody, right? Including your cars. Because when you buy a brand new German machine, or brand new, Japanese machine, or brand new Chinese machine, or American machine, it doesn't matter. As long as you use such type of diesel, 1,800 ppm, dude, you're going to damage that engine within a year. It will become engine oka. Quack, 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 quack. It won't even move. Let me tell you what you will see to know that you are using kerosene, or what is called paraffin, in your car instead of using diesel. It is number one. Whenever you buy a new car, I want you to make sure that you know the speed, check the consumption of diesel or petrol or in that vehicle. Check maybe how many kilometers does it take per 100, how many liters does it take per 100 kilometers. You check that one, number one. From that new, when you bought it and it come from abroad where they were using maybe 10 ppm diesel. Now, you check it, number one, how many, liter does it consume per 100 kilometers. Now, you check it, number two, what is the horsepower of the vehicle. You check it, number three, the speed, the movement of the vehicle. When you are driving your vehicle, you know the movement and when the movement change. Now you start pouring Nigeria diesel into that vehicle. Give it 6 months. That vehicle, number one, it is going to reduce speed, no matter how much you maintain the car. As long as you are pouring 1,800 ppm into the engine, it is going to damage the engine, but it won't tell you, it won't say hi to you. The next thing is that the car will start being dull on the road. It will be firing, the car will not be responding. That is to show you are using kerosene in the name of diesel inside that car. Because 1,800 ppm is probably, in fact, kerosene is lighter. Kerosene is lighter. It's better to use kerosene instead of using such diesel in a small engine car. So that is number one thing. The next thing, the car will start smoking. It will start smoking because it will not burn the diesel that is actually going into the the combustion engine. It will not be burning it. It's too oily. It's too thick. That is number two. So this is exactly what damaged your vehicle, that you will drive vehicle from, within the interval of 2 years, 1 year, the vehicle will start smoking. That is a new vehicle. If you know any vehicle dealer or anybody who knows about vehicle, ask them. about this situation. Now, this is what they are importing for you, which suggests that what Dangote was saying, there is truth in it. But because of the nature and the behavior of Dangote, you cannot validate what he says. Because of his monopolistic nature, you cannot validate what he says. Because what we say here is the truth, the way it is. Because Dangote has been sitting on the throne that belongs to millions of Nigeria. So anything that he brings into a competitive arena is actually monopoly. It has been monopoly. So that's why I don't think there is a lot of people that is going to back him up. Not in this game that some of, Tinubu's relative is in the oil sector. So if there is a ban of diesel, I believe it is going to affect Tinubu's relatives that is in the oil sector. Right? So in this regard, there is a peripheral, there is a peripheral influence that you are dealing with that does not want you to produce what you consume. Rather, you go out there, import the worst of this product, and import inflation with it, and they sell it in your pump the biggest amount. Now, if the existing leader in Nigeria is a visionary leader, if the existing leader in Nigeria is a visionary leader, or if there has been any visionary leader in Nigeria, there is no way you will remove subsidy, billions of dollars that you put into subsidy, which you say that 40% of Nigeria economy goes into subsidy. It was removed just like that. It is like somebody that is sick, surviving on oxygen, and that oxygen was just removed. Where is that oxygen plugged? The oxygen, is it plugged in the pocket of the person who removed it, or in the face of the person who removed it? Where is it plugged? This is the question, because if it is a visionary leader, immediately when the oxygen or the subsidy was removed, the next thing is investing in building a refinery, which is state-owned. It is not Dangote-owned. State-owned refinery. So that there will be quality petrols coming into the country. So that there will be quality, product that is being manufactured in the country. Not this rejected 1,800 ppm that is meant for Caterpillar. 1,800 ppm is even too much for Caterpillar. This is a diesel manufactured in the backyard. That is exactly what is 1,800 ppm you are using in Nigeria. Diesel manufactured in the backyard. Sometimes they mix it with kerosene. Because that's what they do. Many of you will not know about it. They mix it with kerosene, or the one they call paraffin. That's exactly what they do. So come to reason it. If you have a refinery in Nigeria, do you know what that will make you? It will make you to, it will fight inflation. Because instead of importation of inflation, you are exporting inflation. Therefore, it curbs your high inflation rate in the country. Right? It curbs your high inflation rate in the country. Because most of inflation is being imported through the products of, finished product of crudes. That is where most of the inflation is coming from. Because it is an essential commodity, which you have the raw material, but you do not have what you can use to finish the raw material to bring a product out of it. That is to show you that there has never been a visionary leader in the country, and every leader that is in the country, it is actually nepotistic leaders. That's what they do. The fact that Tinubu is trying to block Dangote, it is good something, I am enjoying it so much because Dangote has been monopolizing everything. He holds the monopoly to every business in Nigeria. He holds monopoly to every business in Nigeria. If he sees the way he is going to stop Innocent from manufacturing vehicles, Dangote is going to do it. Believe you me. So that he will be the only one who can do it. Because that is in his behavior. And that is the truth. So, Tinubu, I believe, is not targeting Dangote for the sake of fostering or promoting fair competition. Because he has his own people who are into the industry. If there is a ban to this importation of finished product, it is going to affect his people. An importation of this finished product, which gives you a last quality of this product that destroys your engine, your combustion engine, within the course of 12 months. Not even 12 months, 6 months consecutively, you use this nonsense into your vehicle, it is going to damage it. So because in the past 6 decades, you have never had a visionary leader. What you have is what the system gives to you. The system had never allowed you to produce a visionary leader because the place is not a country, it is a contraption, which there is always external influence that influence the decision that you're supposed to make. Systemically, you do not have power to vote, no right to vote, no right to cry, no right to complain, no right to protest, no right to freedom of speech, no right to self-determination, no right to freedom of expression, no right to gathering, no right to nothing. But Nigeria is signatory to Universal Declaration of Human Rights. That is it. That is it. Because if there is a visionary leader, first of all, what a visionary leader does is to look into every policies, look into every sectors, look how the competition is being managed, and make sure there is an level ground for all to compete, regardless of your ethnicity or regardless of your religion affiliation. But because Nigeria is not created for progress, Nigeria is created for profiteering to the pocket of its creator. Direct or indirect, profiteering to the pocket of its creator. That's what Nigeria is created for. And there is no way a nation like that is going to move forward. There is no damn way a nation like that is going to move forward. It will never move forward. Because look at, let me actually show you what Dangote finally said when he found out that his monopoly attempt is not going to work. It was going to work if there is a Fulani man like him in the position of leadership who gives him the rope to climb and be in every alley area. Listen to what Dangote said.
The mafia in oil, they are stronger than mafia in drugs.
Dangote said that the mafias in oil sector is stronger than the mafia in drug, which is drug like what? I believe he's referring to hard drugs, that the mafia in oil is stronger than the mafia in drugs. But now, there is two paths that we could ask. There are questions that we could ask. How does he know about the mafias in drugs? Did he ever deal with it? I'm just saying. Because you judge a book by what, you judge someone by exactly what they says. He said the mafia in drugs is stronger than mafia in oil. Let's think about it. Let's hear it again from the horse's mouth. I'm not the one who says it. Hear it.
So the mafia in oil, they are stronger than mafia in drugs.
Just to repeat that, mafia in oil are stronger than the mafia in drugs.
I can tell
Is
you
that a
that.
fact?
Yes, it's a fact.
Did you
Because
know the mafia in oil existed before you got into this?
I know that, yes, they existed, but not as strong as the way that I've faced them. I mean, they're very strong.
Is this a global mafia? Is it
Both.
local mafia?
There's a local one, there's a global one.
So the local ones are the ones who are friends to the existing leadership. The external ones are the ones who does not want you to stop buying their fake product, to stop buying their waste product and bring into the country for the usage by the people. Those are the ones he called the external mafia. Global mafia in the oil sector. Now, you see, he was able to do it during the time of Ibeto, and he was successful. Very easy. He relegated the Igbo man to zero, to nothing, and took over the business. And he is the only one, he's been the only one who is running the show that he can wake up in the morning and increase the cement price. He can wake up anytime in the morning and say, no, today the cement price is going up because there is no competition. So he holds the monopoly. You can't do nothing if he said that the cement price is going up. There is nothing you can do because he is the boss. He is the only one. Now, at the end of the day, he came into the oil industry. He wanted to do the same thing. And what happened? He hit his hand on a concrete wall and he started crying because everyone knows already what Dangote is like. Once he come in, every other small masquerade must run inside because the big masquerade has arrived. So that is exactly what you see in what Dangote, do in Nigeria, and he's been protected by his, ethnic brothers and sisters. This is okay. Tomorrow, I am going to actually, there is a program I am going to do on TikTok tomorrow. It is going to be an interesting program, which is going to show you how, colonialism and neocolonialism has damaged the brain of a black man. The aftermath, how it has damaged the brain of a black man. Some countries in Africa are suffering from Stockholm syndrome as a result of the aftermath of colonialism. Now, look at what Nigeria is grappling with today. Look at the quality of diesel that you are consuming in Nigeria today. Look at those mafias. They are not even importing a genuine product into the country. Yet this fake product, this bullshit product that they are importing into the market is actually importing them with inflation, making the cost of living in Nigeria so high because there is no leadership, there is no visionary leadership, there is no leadership in general, there is no technocrats in Nigeria. there is some documentary I made, very short documentary I made about IMF. Because every decision that is being carried out in Nigeria is influenced by the IMF. That's why you see people in Tinubu's government is telling you, those who are actually beneficiaries of these IMF loans, they will wake up to tell you, relax, Tinubu is working soon, everything will be all right. No, not even a damn thing is going to be all right. Because you know why they believe everything is going to be all right? What is going to be all right? What exactly is the advice of IMF? Bring up the taxation, introduce extra tax so that you will have more buying power in order to print more money so that you will steal it. That's what they do. Exactly. And it has come to the time that the country population need to question IMF on what criteria that they use in qualifying a country or qualifying a country to access IMF loan. Because they give you this loan to have this monopoly and influence in your policy making, and that has been what IMF has been doing to African leaders who are very much uninformed, uneducated. Even though if they are educated, it will be in the way of indoctrination. That is exactly the reason why you will never find them doing policies that will work on your behalf, that is actually population friendly. It is going to be IMF and Nigeria, just like every other African countries. What this relationship they share with IMF is a symbiotic relationship where one is benefiting, one is losing, but because the one who is actually the proxy of the nation, which is you can call your president or your World Bank central bank governor, which is standing as the proxy of the country, who is going to now sign your country policies away in the name of getting fiat money from IMF, and at the end of the day, they are going to benefit, because anything, whether good or bad, any decision made, whether good or bad, they are going to benefit. It doesn't concern them. So it is about you, ordinary person on the ground, who is feeling the heat of their wrongdoings, and at the end of the day, they sell the country away. IMF will determine how they will introduce taxation. IMF will determine how they will sell your electricity, how much tariff they are going to increase towards the electricity selling. At the end of the day, you look at your life today, and it will never change until you change your mindset. How do you change your mindset? Understanding how important it is for Nigeria to disintegrate. Because they will never give you the right person to govern. The system will never enable the right person into the system to govern. They will never enable technocrats. They will never enable you to practice meritocracy. They will never enable you to practice technocracy. They will only enable you to, practice godfatherism. Godfatherism in your so-called democracy, because you have no democracy. Meanwhile, whether you have it or not, democracy is born of control. Democracy is as a result of people who play a game of number. It's a numbers game. Number can be manipulated at any time. That's why it is called democracy, because it's a number game. They tell you it is a leadership by the people and for the people. When the people does not even know their constitutional right to vote and be voted for, how do you call that democracy? So these are the things we need to understand. I know that there are some valid points made by Dangote, but those valid points becomes invalid as long as Dangote does not understand what is a fair competition. As long as Dangote does not understand what it means to have a level ground for every competitors, every players to have, equal advantage in the competition field. As long as he does not have it, everything good that he said has turned to become bad. But don't forget, the subsidy removal, where is that money plugged? You remove subsidy. Do you know the reason why? Let me give you a very deep secret that no one will give you, and I'm giving it to you for free. This secret is that when subsidy is removed, automatically IMF, you have more buying power, more loan power from IMF. That's exactly what it does. Once the subsidy is removed, fuel price is hiked. Now, leaving the currency to be determined by the market, which is devaluation of Naira, now IMF is now fine with it. IMF, if you want $100 billion, IMF can, grant you access, print it. It's okay. Do you see how it is? There is a lot of complexity in the way all these things are run, and IMF have a lion's share into the game. Just like the existing leadership has a lion's share in the game. It is all about creating a buying power. Let the people suffer, that you may qualify for more IMF and World Bank loans. That's exactly what it is. Now you ask yourself, what is the position of the central bank governor if IMF is going to now qualify and quantify the status of the financial status of the country in order to know how much they will be giving and how much influence they will exert on the country? What is the qualification of the central bank governor? That he cannot do this, there is nothing, they have not done anything that will help the country to thrive without going into IMF loan. Believe you me, if your problem is 100%, IMF loan is 60% contribution to your problem in that contraption called Nigeria. And the system that puts uninformed people who does not have any knowledge of economics, who does not have any knowledge of leadership, they will continue to lead you into destruction as long as you believe that your mind is so intelligent that tells you that, hey, this is our country, we have none other. This is the only country we have. If it's the only country you have, let there be disintegration of the status quo. Let people decide. Let this decision not be made by IMF, external influence, and they will never allow you to have a refinery. They will never allow you to make use of your raw material because they want you to export the raw material and bring in, third class, in fact, the relegated product, which is 1,800 ppm that you are using in your combustion engine. Who knows? The petrol you are using. Probably you don't even have unleaded petrol when it comes to fuel, petrol, other than diesel. Probably you do not have unleaded petrol in Nigeria. Probably what you are using in Nigeria is something like, third grade. Not unleaded. Because unleaded is one of the best. Depending on their numbers. Because they have numbers. Now, if in this regard, if diesel is 1,800 ppm, dude, the petrol you are using is going to be worse than super. Worse than super. That's exactly what it is. That yellowish petrol you are using is worse than super. It is not unleaded. So, look at what they have done to you. Look at how they are actually. Do you have educated people? The way Wole Soyinka is celebrated all over the world, is he not seeing all these things? Am I the only, only person who sees these things? Are there not educated people in the parliament of Nigeria? Dude, even if there are educated people in the parliament of Nigeria, they will not do anything because they are blind. When you know like the way I know, they will blindfold you with bribery. They will blindfold you with bribery so that you don't come out and enlighten the world. That's exactly the way it is done. Because there are a lot of things we know. Now, these people cannot even fathom in their next generation to come. The reason why people like me join the movement for secession is because I have seen that ever since in the last 3 decades that more than 3 decades that I have existed in that geographical expression called Nigeria, there is no moving forward. It's only backward. 1 step forward, 5 steps backwards. 1 step forward, 5 steps backwards. It's not like as if I don't understand the importance of human resources. It's not as if I don't understand, the benefit of having the numbers. No, we do. But the numbers are useless when the system is flawed. The numbers, the human resources is useless when the system is flawed. The system is flawed. And the people who's supposed to use their voice to advocate for disintegration or dismantling of the system, they have off the mic. Therefore, everyone on their own. Our loved ones are being unalived. Our loved ones are losing their lives because there is no quality healthcare system. Yet, your president, when he have headache, he run to abroad. Who does that? Think about it. He run to abroad where another person actually fixed properly. They do not have 2 heads. Those people who brought this hospital infrastructure that they are running to. More than 200 million people are not important. One person in each state is more important than millions of people in that state, that when they are sick, they run abroad to go and seek for medical attention. When your loved ones are sick, they will buy even fake injection to inject them. When your loved ones are sick, they don't have access to a quality health care because there is no health care system or facility in Nigeria that they will cater for you. If we cannot cater for your leaders, that your leaders is dependent on going abroad and boosting their tourism infrastructure, they call it medical tourism. Boosting their tourism, sector in those countries where they go and boosting their health care. And at the end of the day, your own is in a limbo. And you call yourself a leader. And more than 200 million people sit back and watch, saying nothing, doing nothing. And every time we want to protest, bag of garri is 40,000. Bag of rice is now 100,000. We want to protest. To hell with your protest. Because if you protest for bag of garri and bag of rice today, and it changes, and then what? When the bag of garri, bag of rice changes, and then what? Another person comes into the position of power, they will tell you, we need to introduce tax because the previous administration did not leave money. And they did not leave money. The coffers is empty. You don't call them to account. Just like Tinubu said that Nigeria does not have money. After his Buhari, Nigeria does not have money. Where is Buhari? Buhari is free like a bird. He stole the coffers of the country. He is free. So, if you say Nigeria does not have money, and you did not call the previous administration to account, that means if they are criminals, you are more criminals than them, because you are an accomplice and you are sitting in the coffers of the country and claiming that there is no money. Therefore, you remove subsidy, which is from the advice gained from the IMF. At the end of the day, this subsidy removal gives you a buying power. That money is no longer going to the subsidy. It is going to go to the coffers or your pocket, and the IMF gives you now access to more loans because you have removed the almighty subsidy, so you have access to pay back. And IMF is not giving you a loan for you to pay back. They are giving you a loan for you to default, so that they will have more influence in your very important sectors. Because that's how it works. That's how it works. Every African countries are suffering today because of IMF loan. Go and ask Burkina Faso president, the young man who assumed the office of president, who is doing well for himself, but the only thing I do not like that decision he made is accepting GMO. That is one of the flawed decisions that he has made, accepting GMOs, because in the next decade, you will no longer see organic seeds. That is actually accepting the monopoly in agricultural sector. It will be people like Bill Gates and other scientists are going to have access to sell seeds for you to plant, and these seeds is now starting with vegetables, the thing that actually nourish the brain, the thing that nourish your health, the thing that create a good oxygen to your body. Those are the things they are targeting, the vegetables and fruits, the ones you cannot cook. At least if we talk about our meat that we consume, at least sometimes the chemical they give to our meat, you can boil it and it will reduce the amount of this chemical by boiling it. But when you are eating fruits and vegetables, which does not need a lot of cooking or boiling, this is raw, you are eating their organic modified organism. Food made in labs, when there will be no seeds, because when you plant your organic seed, at the end of every farm season, you will harvest and you will have seeds that you will plant for the next season. Now, when every seed, organic seed, is taken away, now modified seed is being brought into the market. At the end of the day, the organic seed will disappear. Only you are going to depend, because every harvest, you will not have any seed to replant. You have to go back to GMO, to Bill Gates, to give you more seed and in millions of dollars. Buy those seeds, because it will come like a wolf. When you see orange, it will be big like my head. You see watermelon, it will be big like my whole body. And you will say you will think you will think that you are winning. You are cheating nature. You can never cheat nature. Now let's come back to it. Those GMOs, what it does to your body, because our lifespan has been reduced to 60, to 70 and 80. That's why your loved ones, once they clock to the age of 65, they are close to their grave, because of the type of food they are actually consuming, tin food, canned food, those chemicals. Now the type of meat they are consuming, now it makes them to age. They age faster. Now think about your children. A child will start seeing their period at the age of 9, 8. Because those things, the hormones that they put in those chicken, in those animals that you are consuming, they boosted the hormones of the children, that the children will start aging on time. So these are the disadvantages. There is nothing that is natural anymore. Everything is now, there is no longer organic. What it gives your lifespan will now end at the age of 55, 60. People will start, you take a funeral plan. Once you are at the age of 40, take your funeral plan. If this GMO is rolled out, take it or leave it. I know so many people will be saying, oh, those people who are more overly educated will ask you, do you have any scientific proof? To hell with your scientific proof. We know what is against the order of the nature. God gave us nitrogen on the ground. If it does not produce more, you actually add manure. It will actually fertilize the land. It will nourish the land. If the land is not producing, leave it for bush fallow, maybe for one season. Next season, come back to it. Now, if you understand the importance of organic, produce and how it works with your inner self, because what we have, what we see is what we eat is what nourish our soul. On a normal circumstances, our brain is supposed to heal our illnesses. Our brain is like a current, is like a frequency, can send frequency to heal our body, but only when we eat things that is actually, going to be good for our health and put the brain in a very, good working order. If we cannot have the brain in a good working order, how will the brain be able to censor that, here you are having kidney problem, and the brain will send the right signal and frequency that will heal your kidney? The only thing brain does these days, brain will disconnect from it so that it doesn't even bring brain dead. Because there is nothing that we are consuming right now that is helping us to fight off the antibody. We do not have actually, immune system anymore that fights for us. We depend on pharmaceutical, and pharmaceuticals will continue to introduce things that will make you sick so that you bring them more money, because it's about pure profiteering. It is not about humanity anymore. There is no more humanity. In the next 1 decade, organic seeds of orange, organic seed of apple, organic seed of all these vegetables like spinach, cabbage, all of them are going to disappear. You will only depend on Bill Gates and the others in order to have access to the one they generate from their lab, which eventually will shorten your lifespan because you are overly educated. In other words, you are overly indoctrinated. Because the education system that you are introduced to is all about indoctrination. It is not education. The same way religion indoctrinated you, that makes you not to think, is the same way your education system indoctrinates you. You will spend all your life studying, especially in a country like Nigeria. You wake up in these days now, mothers and fathers must be working because it's no longer patriarchal where mom will sit at home because there is no more money, there is no more availability of jobs that is going to give you enough money that will cater for one parent's working, one is going to be nurturing the family. It is no longer like that. That's why now you wake up as a child, you go to early child care. Preschool. As a child who is 2 years old, you are in preschool. From 2 years old, 5 years old, you go to primary school. And from primary school, at the end of, if you finish quickly, 17 years old, you graduate from high school, from secondary school, and then from 17 years old, you take a course in the university if your parents is well doing, because education is the key, and it is only in Nigeria that when you don't get in the key, you cannot find the lock to open. Because you are pursuing the key, knowing that you don't even know where the lock that you are going to use the key to open is in Nigeria. Then you continue to pursue it, 17 years, now you are at the varsity. At the varsity, maybe 20, you take up a medical doctor or into medical line, you spend 5 years there, now 17 plus 5, it's going to give you 22, right? You do your internship. After internship, maybe your internship of 1 year, sometimes you say, I want to be a specialist. You go back to 3 years. At the end of the day, how old are you? How old are you? 25 years, 26 years. Now you start job hunting. Job hunting. You hunt for job for maybe 4 years, 29 years. If maybe 5 years, 30 years. If you are a woman, you are heading to menopause. You never get married though. If you are a man, you are heading to useless because you never get married. Because as a result of the bad hardship in Nigeria, that's when I actually realized, when I moved to a developed country, I realized that the only reason why your women cannot give birth, and you say that your community or your village people, they have used juju to tie your woman womb, is because your woman is on menopause when you find her. Any woman that is above the age of 35 is heading to menopause, is 50-50 chances that they will have children. Especially in a stressful country like Nigeria, because a good medical doctor will tell you that women supposed to get married at the age of 20. A man supposed to get married at the age of 25. So that you will groom your children. So when you groom your children, even when you are still young, in this economic hardship, you will not have high BP when the children are giving you their own children heat. But you cannot do that in Nigeria. Coupled with what religion have installed in your head, indoctrination. If you don't have money, don't marry you. If you don't have a white wedding, if you are not married, don't make children. No. Then you will be waiting until the woman enter menopause. Then you will be pure from one pastor to another, one prophet to another, one chapel to another. In a chongma. You wouldn't know that it is ageism. It is as a result of nature. It is not about your community or village people who do you. It is the age of the woman. They cannot reprocreate because they have headed into menopause. Their period will be irregular at that period of time. So, in other words, what am I trying to say? I am trying to tell you that the situation of Nigeria as it stands now will never enable you to live a normal life. You will live a life of superstition. You will start hating on one another. There is a program I am going to run on TikTok. Maybe I will bring it to Facebook eventually later, tomorrow evening. I might bring it up to Facebook later. It is a program that actually, how the impact of colonialism in our lives, because it brings about indoctrination, superstition, self-hate, and how can your leader who hates himself do something that will be beneficial to you, for you? A leader who hates himself, because if he does not hate himself, first thing he needs to prioritize as a leader, build a hospital that will cater for him. If he does not trust black doctors, he should import all those doctors from abroad who cater for him to work in that hospital as long as it is within the country. But guess what? They don't do that because they hate themselves. They hate themselves. And as long as we continue to live in this reality, and we are not complaining, and the kingdom of God suffers violence, but the violent people take it by force. For those who are affiliated with religion or theologians, it is true. You cannot continue to expect an angel to come from the sky to sit in the position of number one citizen of the country and fix the mess that has been made in the last 6 decades. It does not work like that. The mess is too much. The only thing that will help you to fix that is revolution, disintegration of the system, and we start afresh. At the discretion of the population. Let them decide what they want to do with their lives. Not these cabals of individuals who are the old people destroying the future that they will not be part of, that will be there. And at the end of the day, let's see you tomorrow on TikTok. Until we meet again, stay safe and stay informed. I am going to leave it here. Any question? If there is any question, write it on the comment section, where my face is on Judge Money blog, where I am actually watching on Judge Money blog, not. Let's see if there is any comment that we need to touch on. I'm actually having a sinus. When I speak too much, my sinus troubles me. But Paul James, you say, oh, where have I been? I've been around. You see, Facebook is messing up our platform. So Facebook does not want the gospel to be preached. It is actually one of the reasons. So we are on TikTok basically, but we are using the other part of our skills and our education on TikTok, so that we are actually using one stone to pursue two birds, different birds. So what we do something on TikTok, because TikTok give us it is actually free. It gives you free access. They are very patient when it comes to us enlightening people and expressing ourselves. TikTok actually give us a bit of a chance more than Facebook, because Facebook is actually messed up. Facebook is messed up. They do what they want because they don't want the voice of the oppressed to be heard. Of course, we know it is Church of AI. Church of AI. So they are part of the grand plan and the map that I've actually shown some people who follow me on TikTok. It's part of the grand plan. So they cannot allow us to excel, to release the information or the knowledge that we possess, to share it with other people so that they may learn and detox from this indoctrination that they've been through all their lives. But that's, by the way, let me leave it here, and I will go and take care of myself and take care of yourself too. Bye-bye for now.